Hello and welcome to the Fifth Down Huddle, guys. It is Saturday morning right now at 11 a.m. and about 30 minutes ago, news broke about Cam Newton. He has tested positive for COVID-19 on this Saturday morning, which not only means that he will be out against the Chiefs this weekend, but also likely means he'll be out the next week as well, and that could even be extended if he doesn't recover fast enough. Because I think the rule is you need 2 negative tests, and not to mention you just need the 10-day quarantine as it is. So, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to come on here to talk about. I mean, the quote from the New England Patriots statement this morning was, "Late last night we received notice that a Patriots player tested positive for COVID-19. The player immediately entered self-quarantine. Several additional players, coaches, and staff who have been in close contact with the player received point-of-care tests this morning, and all were negative for COVID-19. So thankfully, it didn't spread around the place. But this is very interesting, and we only have a day to figure it out. Because it's either going to be Brian Hoyer or Jarrett Stidham on Sunday, and they're going to start against the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know who you start here. I mean, Brian Hoyer is on the depth chart the number 2 man. So likely he's going to be the guy to step up. But at the same time, I think it's almost a 50-50 between him and Jarrett Stidham for being thrown into the starting role. I mean, Jarrett Stidham's been with the team for a while now. Brian Hoyer has also been with the team a long time, different stints, but a long time overall when you put it all together. The Patriots are scheduled to depart for Kansas City this afternoon, but they're probably going to delay that until late tonight because they still need more test results, and they need guidance from the NFL as well. We don't know what the NFL is going to say about it because with Cam Newton out and having COVID-19, we might even see a postponement of the Chiefs-Patriots game the same way we saw one with the Titans-Steelers. So in week 4 here, things are spiraling out of control with COVID-19, and if we see a delay in that game, it could very well be until like Monday night, Tuesday. Could have a doubleheader Monday night, even a tripleheader at this point. But a doubleheader Monday night. And if we do, it'd be very interesting. But the main reason they do that is so that they can get these tests back. Because they can't leave Foxborough with all these players and all this staff until each and every person is tested negative. Especially considering that they were all around Cam Newton, who has tested positive. I mean, he's a starting quarterback. So, I mean, man, it's startling, really. I've been following the Patriots really closely this year. I've watched every one of their games. I was really excited to watch the preseason. If you are a longtime listener of this channel and of this podcast, you'll know that last season I did a film review, or kind of in the middle of the offseason, I did a film review on Jarrett Stidham on his preseason. His 2019 preseason. What I found was he was actually a really solid quarterback. And in training camp this year, he didn't necessarily impress. He had a couple good days, but in that final stretch where it was him against Newton, he kind of just fumbled it away. He didn't play terribly, but he just didn't play good enough. And that's kind of expected. I mean, you're going up against former MVP and a second-year quarterback who's never started an NFL game. So, that was kind of expected. But it just opens up a lot of doorways to opportunities not only for Jarrett Stidham, but for Brian Hoyer. I mean, they're going to have to play 2 weeks. So we're going to see another quarterback in the Patriots system. Now, once Cam Newton comes back, I'm like 90% sure that he would still be the starter. But if something crazy happens, I don't mean to stir the pot here, but if something crazy happens where Jarrett Stidham goes in or Brian Hoyer goes in and they play 2 practically perfect games, one after the other, that would open up some quarterback controversy, and that would be that would be fun stuff to chew on. But yeah, Newton, he's been the Patriots' top player, honestly. He's thrown 62 for 91, 714 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. So not brilliant through the air, but he's been solid through the air. He's thrown relatively accurately. And on the ground, he's ran it 35 times for 149 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he is himself has taken the majority of the yards in the offense. So he's honestly just been brilliant for the Patriots. So that's why I say like 95% chance that Cam Newton stays the starting quarterback. But you also have to think about, how long is Cam Newton going to be out? Because, yeah, we can say 1 week, we can say 2 weeks with quarantine, and considering it'll probably last 2 weeks within his body. But then you look at, okay, it's been 2 weeks. What happens if he's out 3 weeks? What happens if he's out 4 weeks? And that's definitely not as likely. But we've seen cases, just with the virus, not in the NFL, but just with the coronavirus, where people have had the virus for a longer time than 2 weeks. Now, Cam Newton is probably the least likely to suffer any major symptoms to this or any major problems with this. I mean, he pretty much, I'm sure he has great respiratory health, considering he's an NFL quarterback, not to mention he is a mobile quarterback, and he's in great shape, and he's not too old, so I don't think he's going to have too much of a problem with it, unless something really weird happens, but I don't expect that to happen. I mean, the death rate for COVID-19 has been dropping steeply for the last month or two. Now, I'm not saying Cam Newton has a chance of dying here, but what I am saying is kind of, as the death rate goes down, so does the seriousness of a lot of these cases, because they're finding out ways to kind of lower the symptoms and help you through it. So there's a lot of answers there. So I think Cam Newton's going to be okay, but the question is, will the Patriots be okay? They're 2-1. They've got a good start here. They almost beat the Seahawks. I mean, they could be 3-1. They were a yard away from being 3-0 after playing the Seahawks, which would be really impressive. But they were that close. So then the question is, like, where are they going to be 2-3 weeks from now? Are they going to be, 2-2, 2-3? Are they somehow going to go to 4-1? It's interesting. You really don't know, because we haven't seen. I guess what I can say here is we haven't necessarily seen a backup quarterback in the Patriot system since Matt Castle in, I believe it was 2011. That was a long time ago. And he did well. I mean, they went 11-5 that year, but missed the playoffs somehow. So Matt Castle is kind of the last backup level quarterback, because Cam Newton isn't a backup level quarterback. He's a former MVP. He's proven himself in the NFL. So he's experienced. He knows what to do when he gets out on the field. The difference now is that Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham. Now, Brian Hoyer has started in the NFL before, but he's not a long-time NFL starter, if you know what I mean. But Jarrett Stidham is definitely not. So it'll be interesting. I'm fairly sure that Brian Hoyer is going to be the starting quarterback going forward until Cam Newton is ready to come back. But until then, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I just wanted to let you in on this news, and I will see you tomorrow morning.